Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Montmartre. This is what many, including myself, think of as the real Paris. If you ignore the active wear and all the rest, you can almost think it's World War II, really. You know, 1940s, because it's cobbled streets, bistros, brasseries, restaurants, things like that. This is the Paris that you see in the movies, and especially Amélie. I love that film. I'm going to watch that tonight. And yes, it's a nice place to be. And it's also perched on top of a rather serious hill. The Basilica, which is, that's the tower over there, has an incredibly commanding presence over the city, because the view from the Basilica is just incredible. But yeah, it's perched on top of a hill, and a rather large one, that's 19 and 25 and 33-year-old Jeff wouldn't even have blinked at. Nearly 50-year-old Jeff wishes to have taken the funicular because it was quite a few stairs. Anyway, I'm scoping, really. I've got an hour until I start work. I'm going to find a fairly friendly cafe, preferably outside, and work. An actual 2CV. This is, as I say, Montmartre is the kind of place. I saw a pair of really lovely pint-sized identical twins wearing actual berets. Everyone seems to be very pretty and well-dressed. And I love that. That's amazing. And it's a lovely place to hang out. So, welcome. It's my home for the next couple of days. I'm staying in a fairly sketchy suburb called Bobigny, which is at the end of the number 4 line. My hostel, a bit of an experimental one actually. My hostel is literally called Just Sleep, because it's only open from 8 p.m. until 10 a.m. But the price is 14 euros per night, which is just incredible. So, rough and smooth. Bobigny, I might get a little bit of footage of that later. It's run down and grubby and fairly seedy. It's a fairly poor area. There are the demographic of immigrants, and I don't mean that pejoratively or negatively, but the demographic is very sharp. Actually, I came out of the metro there my first day, and there were four ladies of, I think, Horn of Africa kind of area origin, selling cans of soda. There were 4 or 5 guys with little carts, char grilling corn on the cob. There were guys selling packs of cigarettes outside the bus station. You close your eyes, you could be in Nairobi. But it's not a bad place to live. But this is incredible. I love Montmartre. It's just wonderful stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna keep scoping for a place to have coffee and work. I'll get back to you later. So a couple of things making me smile. The aforementioned 2CV is apparently part of a 2CV gathering over here. Right. church tower of the Basilica. It has, and I can't remember the name right now, it begins with an S, the largest bell in France. And so far, it's just hit midday. Oh, hello. I'm a little confused, to be honest, because at midday the bell tolled 3 times, then stopped, 3 more times, then stopped, 3 more times, then stopped, making 9, and now it's just ringing incessantly, apparently. Who knows? Anyway, it's still going. That was about 3 minutes ago. Oh, just cute. Right. So, as we all know, Irish pubs are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. And while many have awesome names like the James Joyce, for example, La Virgule Brasserie, and it says Irish pub on the side. Anyway. I do love this part of town. Things, just random stuff. Just saw a very nice, I'm going to guess, 60-year-old couple making out on a park bench. Un local le plus romantique. A young lady wearing next to nothing, and another young lady apparently wearing everything. I swear she had 6 layers. 6 layers on. Anyway, I'm rocking up to Le Plus Beau. And seeing if I can sit outside and teach. I might go back round this corner. water tower, I think. Fairly appropriate graffiti, actually. Jesse and Christie. Oh, dude, that's just fun. Good afternoon, friends. So, having climbed 293 steps, I'm at the top of the dome of the Basilica de Sacré-Cœur de Montmartre. The basilica is just known by the locals as Sacré-Cœur, the Sacred Heart. It's a fairly young building, actually. In 1870, shortly after Napoleon's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War, Felix Fournier, who was the Bishop of Nantes, proposed that they should build this place. It was his suggestion. He was quite a builder, actually. He was credited with having renovated, restored, and expanded on several of the ecclesiastical buildings in Nantes itself. It was his opinion that in the century since the French Revolution, France had suffered a moral decline, and that was the reason for Napoleon's defeat. And so he suggested that they build a basilica of the Sacred Heart. The cornerstone was laid 5 years later, in 1875, and it took until 1914 to actually dedicate and inaugurate the building. Its construction, it's made from a gorgeous white limestone. Absolutely beautiful stone. Very bright. As I mentioned earlier, it is spectacularly positioned. The reason it was built here was because it's a commanding position. Montmartre, as erudite people will know, just means Hill of the Martyrs. It's one of the oldest places in Paris associated with Christianity. And that is why it was built here. But I am taking some panoramic shots from here, but the view is absolutely stunning. You can see the entire city. We are now at this point 200 meters above the Seine, and it is just beautiful. Anyway, right, so from 77 different proposals, a man called Paul Abadie was designated as the architect. That was 1875. He didn't actually live to see it completed. And I think like 5 other architects took over and actually changed quite a few of his designs. I am just stunned by the view from here. This is in the 18th arrondissement. Once the location of the Paris Commune, which is part of the controversy about this building. Essentially, it was a commune of, let's say, socialist, anarchist, free-thinking people, was pretty much just destroyed in these parts. And even to this day, the left wing of the Parliament do not like this place. Including Clemenceau, Georges Clemenceau, who was the French president in the early 20th century. He was one of the people who went to the Treaty of Versailles and was incredibly hardline in making the Germans pay. Anyway, he was vehemently against it as well. Because 30,000 Paris communards, as they're called, were killed in the local area. And even as late as 2022, because this place was recently designated as a top-level historical monument by the Paul Abadie was the architect, and it's an amalgam of designs, really. It's neo-Byzantine, neo-classical, but it really does work, actually, at the front. And inside, you have the seats. Depiction of Christ the Redeemer, as it were, Christ of the Sacred Heart. And one thing I did notice was that you have Jeanne d'Arc, Joan of Arc, in full armour, kneeling in front of him, the very small Jeanne d'Arc, holding up a crown to Christ, which was cool. Another thing I really liked inside was there was the Chapel of the Virgin, one of the side chapels, although hers was directly behind the main altar. Here, it's nicely quiet up here because of the 293 steps. I have got my steps in today. Anyway, I'm going to do some panoramic recording, and yeah, and I've got a class in 40 minutes, which is excellent. All right, don't be smiling. Oh, incidentally, today is the 19th of September. I might actually post this today. It's a very novel experience for me. I do like this. We have these little signs everywhere saying exit. But they're pointing in both directions because this is circular. I mean, you can't exactly get lost. Anyway.
Ale tam było do wyjścia.
Like that. Is it a water tower? I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know if it's what. Yeah, I do like that. Is it a water tower? I'm going to have to look that up. Downtown Financial District. This has been a really nice little interlude, actually, interrupted occasionally by tourists, but very nice indeed. I did actually look up about the bell I mentioned earlier, in the bell tower here is a bell called the Savoyard, 19 tons, and it's the largest bell in France and one of the heaviest in the world, which is cool. Anyway, weirdly enough, I have seen no less than 6 pieces of graffiti, like this one, written by someone called Jesse, which is interesting because I don't know, my first thought was, have all these guys watched before sunrise or before sunset, which is actually set in Paris, and they think they're going to come here and meet Julie Delpy. I wonder if she's around. So many visitors over the last 100 years. The stairs are worn down, which is pretty cool. Limestone. Seriously narrow tower. You come up one and obviously down the other. There's 2, but it is snug. As mentioned before, that there is Saint King Louis IX, and that there is Saint Joan. Yeah. One additional point, this nice man here with the guitar. I've spent some time here today, and he goes through the same 10 songs very, very well, and makes a fairly decent trade. Has received several rounds of applause, including one entire school trip class, which was very nice. I dropped some teams in his bag. He's also in a hat, a scarf, and a very fluffy woolen and polyester hoodie. I mean, I think baking in there. Anyway. So it's early evening now, 6 o'clock. I just finished work, and I'm coming down this way because I saw this gorgeous mural, graffiti, whatever you want to call it, being painted this morning. It's so cool. Anyway. So I've stopped off for a pint. Cheers. This pub halfway up the steps to Sacré-Cœur, and it has to be said, man, after about 5 minutes of sitting here, I noticed the same group of people. There are this rather impressive bunch of stairs down to the bottom of Montmartre, and 5 or 6 runners using this as a circuit, just running up, you know, kind of either running up, going across, running down the steps there and then back, or just running up and down these steps. Like that young lady there. There's one insane guy wearing a Marathon des Sables shirt who is running up, not the steps, but the ramp, which is very nearly a 1-in-1, so a 45-degree hill. And he's gone up and down about 8 times now, which I must admit was pretty serious, because just walking up these steps got me out of breath. Never been a big fan of running. Anyway, that's the funicular going up and down. I've had a good day. Right, still here. Still watching the runners, actually. I've been keeping track of them all. Green shirt guy. That guy is a machine. Because judging by the intervals between seeing him and the directions, I'm thinking he's doing like the full circuit kind of thing. which is really very impressive. He must have passed me about 10 times now, at least. He's a machine. Anyway, the thought occurred to me because, as I mentioned earlier, I might actually post this video tonight. That being the case, I mentioned a little while ago that my Liechtenstein video had 2,200 views, which was amazing. I think I gained about 5 subscribers, which was actually a little demoralizing. So, if you like what I do and how I'm doing it, please do like and subscribe. Take care. Yeah, okay. Evening light and everything. Nice.